If getting your podcast on Spotify, Apple, and all of the other platforms feels confusing or intimidating, this video is going to save you hours and probably a few headaches. And here's the magic of it. If you set things up correctly in this step, you won't have to upload multiple times every time you record an episode. You set it once correctly, and distribution does the rest. Your audience can enjoy your show while driving, exercising, doing chores, or watch you in their living rooms. How crazy is that? Steven is about to walk you through this step by step on screen, exactly the way we do it for real shows. And I'll pop in along the way to let you in on important tips to boost your show. Okay, let's set up distribution. Type "let's do it" in the comments and let's get to work. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start by going to creators.spotify.com. And the first step is to set up an account. So we can say sign up. And here Spotify will ask you to actually sign in with your Spotify account if you already have one, or you can click sign up if you want to create a new Spotify account. That's what I'll do here. And I'm going to choose sign up with Google. Step 1, Spotify asks you to put in your personal information. Step 2 is terms and conditions. We can just go ahead and click sign up. Here we are in a brand new baby account. Let's just go ahead and click on accept terms.
Quick heads up, this setup part only feels long the very first time. Once your account exists, everything else you're about to see becomes copy and paste simple.
Now we need to create a new show on Spotify. And in order to get it to show up on Spotify and to start the distribution to all of the other podcast players, we're going to need to build our show on Spotify with a title, description, cover art, and category.
This is where a lot of people get stuck. Your title, description, and cover art don't need to be perfect to get approved. They just need to meet the platform requirements. You can refine things later.
If you don't already have all of those things, we have an amazing brand new podcast maker and launch tool called Podcast Your Way. Podcast Your Way helps you quickly explore high-performing topics based on your interests and goals. It helps you choose a name that isn't already being used by someone else. And it builds a complete show profile for you and even gives you a temporary cover art that you can use to quickly get set up on Spotify. So go to podcastyourway.com to try it for free. So let's go ahead and click on Create New Show. First up is our show name. I'm going to go to Podcast Your Way and simply copy my name and paste it here in this field. Then a description. I'm going to go to Podcast Your Way where I already have my description built for me, and I will go ahead and paste it into this field. I can also add some line breaks to make this a little more readable here if I'd like. I've got the host name, and here is where we can choose our category. For Veronica's brand new show here, it is entrepreneurship. And of course, you will choose your language as well. This is in English. And that's it. Now we click on the next button. Here it's asking you to upload an image for your cover art. Well, Podcast Your Way's got a cover art made for us, so we can just download our cover art here from Podcast Your Way, pop back over to Spotify for Creators and click Upload Image, and now choose that podcast cover art that we just downloaded, and it's as simple as that. Now we just click on Finish. It is important to have a podcast cover art here if you want to be accepted on all of the other players that we will be distributing to in a moment. Step 1, setup complete. Now we need to verify our email address. So go to that email account that you used. You might need to click on where it says verify your email address and tell Spotify to resend this email. Eventually you'll get an email from Spotify and you can click on confirm your email. Now you can click on back to home, and step 2, email address verified. And now you need to publish an episode. The perfect first episode to publish is a trailer episode.
This is why a trailer matters so much. Podcast directories won't distribute empty shows. A trailer tells the platforms and future listeners this podcast is real and it is coming.
Again, if you don't already have a trailer episode recorded, that's something we also help you do in Podcast Your Way as well. We guide you through the whole process of writing a trailer, even if you've never written one before, with all of the points and the best practices that you need to include in a trailer while still keeping your own authentic voice. Then we actually guide you through recording, editing, and exporting it yourself very quickly so that you have your first trailer episode to upload to Spotify here. Once your trailer is downloaded and ready, we just click on Publish an Episode here, and it brings us to a place to upload our audio or video. I'm going to go ahead and select a file here, and here's my trailer. It only takes a few minutes to upload the trailer and starts generating a preview. In the meantime, while it's uploading, you can title your trailer and give your trailer a description. You could title this trailer or coming soon, but my favorite way to title your trailer is actually to use the tagline for your podcast. I'm going to copy the tagline from Podcast Your Way here, and this will be the perfect title for my brand new trailer. Real growth begins when you walk into the room. And for the description, the perfect description for your trailer is your elevator pitch. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that here from Podcast Your Way, pop back over into Spotify, Spotify and paste it in here like this. Of course, you can add some line breaks if you want some more readability, and we're done. And we could just select one of the auto-generated thumbnails here. And as we scroll down, there's a few more content checks. Do you drop some F-bombs? Yes or no? Does this contain any promotional content? Yes or no? You can also add a poll here. We'll skip this for now. And when we get to additional details, here is where you can click on trailer, because this is a trailer episode. And for season number and episode number, we can leave these blank. These will auto-fill in on Spotify and all the other players. And that's it. Super easy. Now we can just click next. We're taken to a page where we can review all of our details and choose when we would like to publish this. We're going to publish this right now. So click on now, and without any more thought, click publish. And would you look at that? We're almost live. Our show will be available on Spotify shortly, and Spotify will let us know as soon as it's ready. And it tells us right here that to make your show available on other podcast listening apps, turn on RSS distribution. So we're going to go ahead and click on turn on RSS. You'll notice here that we now have a Spotify URL where our show will live. We also have a Spotify for Creators page. If you copy and paste this into a new tab, you can see that you actually have a page or a website for your podcast right here, which is amazing. But in order to really start the RSS distribution, you're going to have to wait until Spotify accepts your show and your show actually goes live on Spotify. Then we'll be able to come in here and click on enable.
If you've heard the term RSS feed and you felt your brain shutting down, don't worry. Think of it like a master link. Spotify sets it once, and every other platform uses that same link to stay updated.
All right, just moments later, you'll get an email from Spotify for Creators. Your episode was successfully processed. So if we go back to where we were with our show settings and refresh the page, look, now this button is pushable here on Spotify. So we can go ahead and click enable. Now Spotify has created our own unique RSS feed for our brand new show. Congratulations. Underneath that, you'll see a big copy button, and that's because we're going to need to copy this RSS feed and share it with all of the podcast players. And this is how we actually set up the distribution process. Now, it's very important before you start the distribution process to any of the directories that you click on add here to add your email address to your RSS feed. This way, the directories like Amazon and Apple can send verification codes to your email address to make sure that you actually own your podcast. So this process is not automatic. We need to do it ourselves for each and every podcast player that we want to syndicate our show to. So the first one on the list is Amazon Music, and Spotify gives you the information you need to know to do this. If you click here, it tells you to submit to Amazon Music, use their portal. Click their portal, and here we are. Very intuitive here on Amazon. We have a button right here that says add or claim your podcast, and it's gonna want you to actually sign into your Amazon account. If you don't have an Amazon account, you can create a new account here. Once you get logged in with Amazon, whether it's with an existing Amazon account or a new Amazon account, you'll likely need to receive a text message from Amazon and go through the verification process of logging in. Now we're here at this page where we can add your podcast. And right here it's telling you to add your RSS feed URL below. You can just pop back to your Spotify for Creators account, and under your show settings page where you were, remember you can copy your RSS feed by clicking on the copy button right here. Pop back over to Amazon Music for Podcasters and Control or Command V as in Victor for paste. And check it out, Amazon found our podcast and it's asking, is this your podcast? And we'll say, yes, it is. So confirm email. The email has been sent. Find the email that Amazon sends you and choose confirm ownership. You're all set, Amazon says. So now we can view the dashboard, and there we go. You are all set up on Amazon. However, you are going to need to wait for Amazon to approve your podcast, and Amazon says that this can take up to a week.
Approval delays are completely normal. Nothing is broken. Most shows get approved in days, sometimes hours, but this waiting period is exactly the reason why you start with a trailer.
So you'll need to come and check back up here again periodically to make sure that your show is actually on Amazon. And when it is, you will get a link to your show on Amazon Music. And when you come back here to Spotify for Creators, you can add your link here. So we've set up Amazon, now let's go to Apple. Okay, now in a similar fashion, all we have to do from our show settings page in Spotify under availability here is scroll down to Apple Podcasts, and Spotify guides us through this process by clicking on this link right here, Apple Podcasts Connect. Here you'll be asked to sign into Apple using your email or your phone number. If you use an iPhone, you will likely already have an Apple ID, and there's a way that you can sign in with your Apple ID by scanning a QR code that Apple will provide for you, or you can just use the email address that you use for your Apple ID. Here you'll need to agree to Apple's terms of service and click submit, and here we are in your Apple Podcast Connect account, and it says, hey, there's nothing here yet. So let's go ahead and add a show. And here we're given two different options. The top one is the one that we want, add a show with an RSS feed. With that selected, we can click on next. And now it's asking for our RSS feed. So once again, we pop back to our Spotify for Creators tab, click on the copy button underneath our RSS feed, pop back over to Podcast Connect, and paste it in there by pressing Command or Control V as in Victor. Now with our RSS feed in there, all nice and cozy, we can click on Add. We're still processing your show details. Check back later and then click Publish. How long will this take? I don't know. So I refreshed the page after just a few minutes, and check it out. Apple sees my show here. It sees my cover art. Now you will need to scroll down this list here to this section, Content Rights, and click on "This show does not contain third-party content." You're basically saying that you own the content. You're the creator of this content. You're not just stealing somebody else's content and publishing it here. You will also need to click in this drop-down menu here where it says Update Frequency. This is unique to Apple, and Apple is asking how frequently you plan on updating episodes. If you don't know yet, you can just say no set schedule. But if you're planning on doing a weekly or a bi-weekly or a daily show, you can let Apple know that here now. I'm gonna go ahead and select no set schedule because I don't know yet. We can click on Save, and now that you've updated all this information, you can go ahead and click Publish. So congratulations, your show is now on Apple, and it happens a lot quicker to Apple Podcasts than it happens to Amazon. So now check it out from the same page. If we scroll down, you'll find your Apple Podcasts URL. You can copy this. If you were to paste this in another tab, you would see here's your show on Apple Podcasts. How cool is this? But that same Apple URL, again, if we click copy, now you can pop back to your Spotify for Creators account and paste that URL right here. And once you've done that, you can click on Add to Profile. So congratulations, those are the two big ones, Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts. And whenever you want to check back on how things are going with Amazon, you can just come back to the same show settings and availability page here, click on the Amazon Music, and you can click on their portal here, and you can see that you're still pending there. All right, now that we have Amazon and Apple in the bag, let's start the process to all of the other players.
This part matters more than people think. Podcast listening hasn't gone anywhere. People just want choice. Some start listening in the car, pick it up on their smartphone, and finish on a smart TV or desktop.
So the process is very similar with all of the other players that it is with Amazon and Apple, although all of them have their little quirks, and Castbox in particular is a little strange. But when you click on Castbox Creator Studio, here you can create an account with Castbox by saying Enter Creator Studio, and you can use your same email to create an account. You can always find the Creator Studio again when you're on Castbox homepage by clicking on the profile button in the top right and choosing Creator Studio. Castbox allows people to create their own channels and content actually on their platform, but you can also claim ownership to an existing podcast that's on other directories. So here we're gonna go ahead and say claim ownership, and it's asking your channel link on Castbox RSS feed. So here, once again, back to Spotify for Creators, and we copy our RSS feed and we plop it in right here. Then it's asking for the email address that's on the RSS feed. We can make sure that we're using the exact email address that we have listed on Spotify for Creators, and we paste it in there and we choose to submit. Success! An email containing claim link will be sent. Please check your inbox later. Thank you. And look, in our inbox, we have, "Hi, podcaster. Welcome to Castbox." And it gives us this crazy link right here that we can click to claim our show on Castbox. And right now it's showing me sort of a broken image of what would be my podcast cover art, but that's not a big deal. We just have to accept Castbox terms of services here and choose confirm. Now from our Creator Studio, we can click over to where it says claimed and check it out. There's our new podcast. If we click there, this brings us to our podcast channel on Castbox. And look, we actually have our Castbox URL right up here in the search bar. You can also choose to share right here, and there's a bunch of different options to share. One of them is to just copy a link at the very end. That is the link that we can come back to our Spotify for Creators account and drop it in right here. And now we can click Add to Profile, and we have Apple Podcasts added to our profile, and we have Castbox added to our profile. So we're just going to repeat this process with all of the directories. I'll cruise through this really quickly, and you can go through this whole process yourself. But we want to go ahead and do this on all of the directories, because the more places that your podcast is available are the more potential places that people will discover you. But also we want to make sure that we give our listeners and our viewers the option to enjoy our show no matter where they prefer prefer to consume their content. So with Goodpods, when you click on their portal, you don't even need to bother creating an account or going through any of this process with Goodpods until the name of your podcast actually shows up here when you add it to this search podcast directory here, because Goodpods doesn't actually allow you to share your RSS feed with them in the way that the other players does. So when I type in Introvert's Guide to Networking, the name of my podcast, I don't see it show up here yet. So it's a good idea to wait about 24 to 48 hours. It may take a day or two before Goodpods sees it. So don't even bother creating an account until it sees it here. Once it does, then you can create an account and claim your show. They'll send you an email, the same process as before. iHeartRadio, similarly, when we click on their portal, we can submit our podcast, and right off the bat, it's going to ask us to log in and sign up. We can create an account with iHeartRadio, and we can choose to add our podcast. We pop back over to Spotify, copy our RSS feed, and paste it here with iHeartRadio. We say that we're not a robot, and we say verify podcast RSS. Look, there it is, Introvert's Guide to Networking. We just have to accept the terms and conditions here with iHeart and choose to submit podcast. And we will need to verify our podcast with iHeartRadio here. We say confirm ownership, say that you are not a robot, and access owner verification, just like that. Verify ownership claim. And check it out, we're live on iHeart. This is our iHeart dashboard here, so we can actually share our podcast. You can copy the link by clicking on this copy link button here, and then you can paste it here back in Spotify for creators. Now, Overcast is a little bit different, and Spotify doesn't actually leave the Overcast URL here because you'll actually need to download the Overcast app on your phone if you want to share your Overcast link here with your Spotify for Creators account. If you don't, no big deal. People will still be able to find your show on Overcast once you've submitted it to Apple, because that's how Overcast works. With Pocket Cast, it's a little bit funky here too. You will just click on their portal. So it'll take you here where you can say listen on web. And from here, you can actually paste your RSS feed in here where it says search or enter URL. When you do, it will say adding this feed URL. You can click here, and here is your show on Pocket Cast. And now you can actually click on the share icon next to the name of your show. And again, we have all of these different ways you can share your Pocket Cast link, but we can just choose copy link here, come back to Spotify for Creators and paste it in there. Add to profile, and there it is.
At this point, your podcast is live everywhere people already listened. The next step is making sure people can actually find it. And that's where YouTube comes in, because YouTube plays by a different set of rules. In the next video, we'll walk you through how to set your podcast app on YouTube the right way so distribution and discovery actually work together.